All right, hi Tim. Welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, November 13th, 2024. Call to order. We have a quorum present are Bruce Kiefner, Lizette Enhofer, Sean Cohen, Cindy Wakeman, John Short, Tim Bishop, Conservation Director on the line. We're gonna go to our supplemental agenda. And we need to approve the draft meeting minutes of September 11th, 2024. Any changes, corrections, questions? There's no changes or anything on it.
Seems in order.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. And then on that supplemental, there's new business, but we'll go into that when we get to that point in the agenda. All right, so now we're gonna go to the approval of the draft meeting minutes of October 9th, but the meeting was canceled. So we don't have to approve anything. All right. So go to bills and communications, clam relay and planting. I was hoping to possibly get a relay in before the end of the year, but I think the water's gonna be getting too cold and it's kind of late, so if we approve money, we wouldn't be able to get it done anyway. So we'll just wait till spring.
I was down there today and there are a couple folks out there clamming and having good results. They seem to be happy.
Oh, well, that's good. We put a lot of clams out, so
I told them that.
once you find them, you know, you're in them pretty thick. All right, so we'll push the possible relay or planting into the spring. We'll go to water and habitat quality. Bruce, was that Cindy? Was that?
Sure. We're open for 31 days. In October. 0 days closed. And during the whole month, there was 1.41 inches of rain, but never at one time. Well, our new closing is 1.5 anyway, right?
Yeah, in 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
In 34 days.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
compared to
closed a total of 137 days so far this year.
I don't remember getting any rain that really is just the other day, but
Yeah.
about 0.3 inches.
This is October 7th, it was 1.39.
oh, okay.
0.02 on the 29th. That's it. Kinda crazy.
All right, anything else on water and habitat quality? Permits and access, Cindy?
So the total permits that we have are 312. 98 from mail, 0 from the clam clinic, and 214 online applications.
You say 0 from the Clan Clinic. Nobody filled them out on paper, but they could have screenshot
Sure.
and just gone online.
I think also being that it's in September. I think people are more likely to buy when we have it in May or June than September.
No, there was someone at the planning clinic that said that misplaced the papers that had the QR code till late in the game. All right, anything else on the mechanical? All right, we'll move on to Southport Beach reopening. And that's a no report.
I think it's in our report.
Okay. Commercial shellfish regulations. Just wanted to talk quick about commercial shellfish regulations. So over the last 10 years, we've been doing a lot of work in Ash Creek for restoration. If you go down there, there's oysters everywhere. Eventually, well, not eventually, but now people, commercial guys do want to get in there. We have some pretty strict regulations, but I was thinking of possibly putting a moratorium on commercial shellfishing in Ash Creek. I don't know,
Could they even take a boat in there? Is it?
there used to be skiffs that went in there and harvested a lot.
Okay, so they're not gonna bring a big one in.
So,
It was mentioned before that, and I thought it was apropos, that Ash Creek is our nursery. In other words, sorry, but that's where we
right,
grow oysters and we can't go into that area. I mean,
so, we have the guys that were clamming over where the dredge material is gonna be dumped.
Have they dredged there? Have they done any shell fishing over there?
They've been there they've been there for months.
Okay.
I don't know what they're getting, but they're getting something. So after that and this dredging goes on, we really don't have any commercial shellfish regulations other than the regulations we set for Ash Creek. So in the future, in the next couple of months, I think that we should probably discuss commercial shellfish regulations and how to open up some of our water to commercial shellfishing. But also, like you said, keep Ash Creek as a nursery, put a moratorium or just close it to commercial shellfishing. And use that, if any restoration projects going on in Fairfield, you use that to take oysters from, put shell in, keep doing restoration there. But there's something else coming up later in the agenda that we'll talk about that'll help out with all that.
The dredging is tentatively scheduled for January.
Yep.
Weather depending,
How long do we think that whole thing's gonna take?
about a month. They have to bring in long arm excavators and they have to bring in the Currituck, not the Currituck, but its sister ship, which is down in New Jersey at the moment.
Is that a sucker boat or?
And it's a hopper barge vacuum dredge.
Be nice to get all those old bottles out of South Fork Harbor when they do
Well,
that.
actually, it probably won't be much because what they're really talking about is, I don't remember, I should know, but it's like 10,000 yards sand, which is accreted, it's all wave washed sand. You have pictures of waves coming right over the beach and depositing sand there.
All right, so soon, all we have on as our committee of commercial shellfish regulations is Sean, but I think this is just a mistake. So it should be me and Sean, and then we need to add somebody to that probably, so we can then work on putting some regulations.
Where would we even have commercial shellfishing?
So outside of Jennings Beach, Penfield Beach, there's natural beds there. There's our natural beds going from Penfield Reef to, say, Sunken Island are very narrow. There's no commercial shellfishing possible there. And then outside of I don't know if it's from Kenzie Point or outside of that, it goes across to the Westport line. There's a big area there. As for our creeks and rivers, like I said, Ash Creek should probably be close to that. I'd say Sasko Creek close to that. And really, the Mill River, I don't think there's really enough oyster in there, and there's moorings, there's.
The access is very, very challenging.
Yeah. So,
I know we've gone through this, but is the reason why we would grant it we've said we don't think there's enough money to make it really worth doing. What is, out of a sense of responsibility to allow access? So then it seems the thing to do is to decide which beds will allow people to bid on. We put it on RFP, make it public, post it somewhere, send it out to people that expressed
Well,
interest.
it's really like a permit system, so we identify the beds that could be harvested if we wanted them to. And then the commercial shellfishman comes in and fills out the form with their boat number and all that. They pay the fee for the permit, and then we charge them for whatever they pulled up out of the bottom.
That's one way to do it. Is the other way to basically try and say we want to give an exclusive to one company that wants to take the responsibility for it. Just clean up the whole, we're monitoring how many they're taking and say, pay us a fee. If you want to go try your luck, you might have upside. And then we just take whatever that is and move that money over.
There is a possibility, as long as it's open to everyone, yeah, if it's an
As long as we make
RFP,
it
right?
public and have the application process transparent. That might be saved effort.
It also makes it easier to keep track of
Yep.
everything. So we'll work on that, but maybe starting in the new year, we'll come up with some regulations and,
Do we have a sense of how the town is treated, let's call it similar projects like that, where it's a private-public kind of a partnership?
What does Westport do?
Yeah.
The state handles it.
What do you mean the state handles it? The RFP process?
They handle their commercial beds.
Oh, I see.
so some of the other towns, when you go to the gathering and the Shellfish Commission, still talk about how they've leased some of their bottom. Some towns own some of the bottom and some don't. So we really don't own any. There's a possibility of the Minot Smith property, but it's looking a little thin because we don't have any paperwork really on it. It would take some work to get that together, which would be 112 acres of beach. The rest of it, we can't, it's a gray area on leasing it. So if it's a gray area, we don't lease, we're not gonna lease the bottom. We could sell permits or do a RFP as like a collaboration maybe of if someone we let harvest could also provide us with clams for a bed or pay for each bushel they take out. We'd have to discuss all that, probably look at what some other towns do, probably talk to the Bureau of Aquaculture and get some real regulations that are good for the town of Fairfield and possibly good for commercial shellfish operations.
It's an honor system, really.
Well, the regulations
You're
we
able to be
put
out there
in-
every day checking to see who's
so the
having the
regulations we
baking.
put in for Ash Creek were 30 bushels a day up to a maximum of 300 bushels, then the season's closed. Call in before you go in, call when you're leaving, and either the Fairfield Police will check, the DEP or the Shellfish Commission of what product you
Is that a
have.
reasonable amount of product to pull off after making the big drive up here for one of these guys?
No.
So then maybe we want to do one person, makes it worth it for them if they can take.
Yeah, so that was
Lots
Ash
of-
Creek. We kind of,
Yeah.
we put those regulations in, they are sort of prohibitive, so it's just possibly open water, leave all the creeks for restoration in the way they are, because with all the oysters and clams in there,
They're nurseries, I mean.
yeah, when
they're-
they spawn,
They're nurseries for the
everything
sound.
goes out and hopefully settles.
Yeah, we really don't want it damaged.
Right.
I mean, they're really oyster islands,
So, yeah,
a
so
lot of oysters.
we'll come up with some commercial regulations. We're gonna have to add someone to that committee. I don't know if you wanna be
Sure.
involved, Bruce? All right, so we're gonna add Bruce to the committee, so it'll be myself, Sean and Bruce, unless Lizette or Cindy, I
Okay.
I'm good.
didn't see you guys. It's me, it's me.
So
All
now
right,
we
so
can
that's, how's that sound
feedback.
with commercial? Good?
Yep.
Oyster bed
Feedback.
development. Oyster bed development, we still have a few bags of shell and a few bags of oysters hanging off the dock. We probably need to put them in this month, and we normally put everything in the beginning of November. It's a little later, but if anyone has time one of these weekends, maybe I'll send out a couple of emails or something. We'll see if we get a few people together. This weekend's no good.
We use the boat to do that?
No, we're just gonna take the shell out of the bags, put them in the bins and either put it in Sasko Creek or in Ash Creek.
I'm out to California tomorrow for the weekend.
Yeah, this
So, but
weekend.
that doesn't, none of it goes out into Sasko.
So we should put some of it, if there's a little bit we could put in Sasko, possibly in the jetty. There's a lot of oysters growing on the jetty and all around it.
I was there today, there are a lot.
Yeah, so we have been dumping some oysters in the jetty the past couple of years, just because when we do our disease survey, it makes it easy to try to find oysters. They want oysters that were raised in Ash Creek and then moved over to Sasko. And then they want to do disease surveys on them to see if, anything is brought over with it.
Okay.
I mean, I was there this afternoon, but how do when I pick an oyster up, Tony, this one was born in Ash Creek.
So there's one way to know of the oysters we put in last year and the year before is we broke them off of the spat collectors, and there's possibly a little chunk of cement on the back. But when I
Yeah.
picked those 30-something oysters last month or whenever it was, I really couldn't find any with the chunk of cement. So I don't know if the salt water breaks that down over time, or if there's just so many oysters,
I mean, there are a lot of oysters there.
There's a lot of oysters there, yes. And a lot of loose ones too.
Yeah.
But the jetty is almost unwalkable now. It's covered in oysters. Right, at the end of it.
Do we want?
I threw 2 people off without permits today.
Really? Getting oysters or clams?
Now they're getting periwinkles.
Maybe we should make it like the supermarket. If your check bounces, they put a picture up there. I want Bruce to take pictures of these people. Excuse me, we'll put
They're
pictures.
Wall of shame.
Well, shame on our social accounts.
I guess periwinkles or whatever, the little snails.
Yeah.
But I said, do you have a permit? He said, no, they were not English. English was not their first language. And so I said, no, you have to have a permit. So they left.
That's fine. Did you suggest that they get a permit?
I said, yeah, I suggested they get a permit.
Nice. All right. The state police officer, I said, listen, I gotta get to my Shellfish meeting. And he's like, oh, I can't wait to go again. I said, you got a permit, right? And he said, yeah. So he lives in here. Okay, so oyster bed development, we have a few oysters put in, a little bit of shell. There's oysters growing. If anyone goes down, all the shell that we put in is covered in oysters. And then the new shell we just put in is covered in small fat, but really covered, everything is covered. So it's working down there. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, I guess.
Southport, where we dump the,
Those are growing too. You can see them standing up.
Good.
So, and that's, I think we'll put some of the shell in over there. Anything else on oyster bed development? Communications. John?
We haven't had one of these since we had the clam clinic. So, I mean, I think the real question becomes, what's our next big kind of tentpole-ish thing coming up, or educational opportunity we can kind of push, otherwise it gets kind of slow in the winter.
Ash Creek Conservation has asked us to do a little walk over at the Burrows Community Center. I'll get in touch with Gail.
What is that?
I have to get in touch with Gail to find out exactly what she asked me 6 months ago.
Okay.
We'll see on that. That's an opportunity, but
What's the topic? Just about our commission in general?
what the commission does about the oysters,
Okay.
really probably talking about what we've done in Ash Creek.
Yep.
Since that's their, what else on communications? We really don't need to be in the winter catalog, right? That's probably already out.
No, I'm sure that's long gone, but we have to need to check in regularly with Parks and Rec and find out what the deadlines are, because they're months and months and months before you.
Yeah. Bill,
Suddenly they're over.
We should-
Suddenly, it may be February is the deadline, February 1st, I can't remember.
We didn't have a unique URL for them to sign up last time, right? For the stuff that was in the Parks and Rec thing. It'd be nice to know how many were driving out of that. So different different QRs or different codes so we can say what's working better? Maybe we should plan for that. Maybe we should put a QR in there instead of sending them to the website. And then we'd be able to track back like a unique one just for that. And then we'd know how many people went through that.
Right, and maybe we get what do we have, a half page ad the first time, or quarter page?
Yeah, we had it set up to go to a quarter or a half page. And we ended up getting a quarter because it's basically, because we're free, it's what fits in their layout. In other words, we can't, I guess if we wanted to pay, we could get a bigger ad.
We pay in wampum, we pay in oysters,
Yeah.
the old fashioned way, money.
Wampum.
We have to pay $500 and we only sell, 10 permits or something off it, but, so maybe, do you wanna find out when the
Yeah, I'll find out.
drop dead date is on that?
And I think the thing that promotes us most of all is the clam clinic. And I've looked at the tides and it's my general guess, looking at the tides, that we're gonna be faced with the same problem next year that we have this year.
Question on the Parks and Rec thing, so we had to pay for an ad, do all of the different commissions pay for their placement in that?
We did not pay.
We didn't, no, we didn't, hit, but you're saying if we do,
One bigger,
We
So
want a
we-
half page or?
if we don't
have to
pay, we get what they get.
I've never
Got it.
even asked.
but other town
Cause it seems like it's a town
Or
magazine, it should be free.
town magazines should be free for everybody.
Well, there are
This is in the New York Times here.
commercial businesses that do advertise in there. It's not all town-run entities.
We're not commercial.
So they're paying now.
So we're a
I mean,
town,
the real question to ask them is, if we want a bigger ad, what do we do?
yes, or say, can.
Let's not call it an ad, let's just, or we wanna have bigger placement
Yeah.
in this year.
Right, at least a half page, possibly a full page, because if we come up with a date for our clam clinic, we can start advertising it
And
early,
can we request the top half of the page?
top half, yeah.
We might even distribute their Parks and Rec magazines at our next event
Hmm?
for a little hookup.
But I think it's gonna be, we may be able to advertise our clam clinic. But the spring one is gonna say, we're having the clam clinic in September.
Well, I think
No,
we need to do
we're gonna have it in
something,
the
we
spring.
have to do something in the spring, whether or not we do like mini clinics. I think we need to be out there doing something in the spring. or
So
summer.
we were able to do the clam clinic in the afternoon and we got it done. It was a great clinic.
Yes.
There were a lot of people, it was organized. I mean, everything went great.
Well, the weather was fabulous too.
Yeah. Yeah, got lucky with that. It was absolutely beautiful. So we can do it in the morning or we can do it in the afternoon. If we do it early enough,
What's the early,
so the beach is open at that point, that's the issue,
That's the problem.
right? So that's why we wanna do it in the
So
morning.
that's why we wanna try and do it this way before when we've done it. Seems like what we kinda do it around end of May, right? Or like May
What- what's
17th.
the-
I feel like it's always
what's the
around my daughter's
earliest?
birthday.
can we do it? We have to do it in the month of June.
I
We've
think
done it
we've
in
done
May and
the,
it's
we've done the
been
end of
a
May.
little chilly, so we could
We've
do
had a
May,
good turnout though.
yeah. We're gonna get turnout no matter what. If we can get a good low tide where you're only up to your ankles, then, everyone will go in. So why don't we just push the clam clinic till our next meeting, we'll all look at the tides and everything, look at our schedules. And then we'll try to come up with something, we'll put that on the agenda, we can start talking about it early.
Maybe we should look between, mid-May to mid-June.
So
I
the
know
problem
we
with
did
June
the
is
frame
we
that
have
we
to get
had.
the morning in June.
I knew we did it in
But
June
in
because I
May, we
was
could
gone
do
already. I had
Morning
already,
or afternoon,
yeah.
because the beach isn't open yet. So when it gets to June. the
But
beach
we've
is
done it when the
open.
beach was open. The question was, we couldn't do it once we hit into July, and that's what we were looking at this year. So I think it's a question
Yeah,
of
we've
whether,
done it when the beach is open because it started early enough where
right, and we've done it
we
like,
could ask for permission to let people park.
yeah,
So that discussion will happen down the road, but already it's looking like another issue with the tides. Anything else on communications?
No.
Alright, so I'm back on Facebook again. And I got this page, it's called All Things Clamming.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen it. but
We'll follow it.
it's awesome. The pictures, there's so many great pictures in there. But yeah, take a look at it. So somehow the machine has figured out that I do something with clamming and it's sending me all these different clamming pages.
Yeah, because you said it, you said the word summer.
Yeah.
Because I dog sat for someone this
But I'm
week.
happy
click on
because
it,
it sent me what I
they,
want this time.
I dog sat for someone this week. I feed the dog, the farmer's dog, and that's all I see now. Every day, none of it's bads. They are always listening.
Okay, anything else on communications?
Group has been welcome to that group, our group.
We gonna put anything out on communications as far as like for Thanksgiving or no, because we're not putting clams out, we're not gonna.
If you wanna post
Something-
a recipe for
something.
Mike Harwood, 2 years ago made oyster dressing for his turkey, oyster stuffing. Mike's not a chef, but it was good. I had some. So I don't know if you wanna come up with some kind of recipe and post it.
We've had Thanksgiving post before with the old black and whites and the old ladies going in there, so
Okay.
we could do something.
And just to keep our name out there, like through the winter. You know. Good idea.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a guy today, who was clamming, and I said, so how do you prepare them? Go and, clam sauce, we need clam sauce or something, I mean, so you can, some of these things are sort of universal, you can put clams casino in there or anything else, there are a lot of clams there.
Maybe then throw another recipe up in December. There's a lot of seafood used, certain
And then start
holidays.
pushing for people to get their new license come January 1. Remind people.
So right now, we'll deal with Thanksgiving next meeting. All right, we're done with communications. We'll go to upwellers. Upwellers are shut down. I did purchase a DeWalt power washer, and the thing's awesome. So we have that to clean things when we need to clean our bags of shell or clean the upwellers. It'll make the job a lot easier.
Is it gas?
No, it's electric.
Okay.
I felt like the gas was just noisy and defeats the purpose of, I don't know.
Mhm.
But the electric one, it seems to work good. All right, reports from the Conservation Department. We got our shellfish fund balance of $28,470.57 as of October 31st. And we really aren't gonna be spending much money for a number of months, so we should be able to build that up when we sell some more permits. Cindy, do you report on the permits, right, or was it Lisa?
I did.
Cindy reported on the permits, 312.
I think we had numbers.
First,
Do you have any numbers on how many other towns sell the permits?
so they always announce it at the gathering of the shellfish.
That's what I thought. Do we have
So-
that record of what it was last year?
Oh, I had
Last
it
year.
for Westport. Wendy gave it to me.
It was like 580 something.
Yeah, but it was insane because the number of permits they sold to residents was incredibly small because they sell they sell 1-day permits.
Oh, so they're counting that?
Yeah, and Groton does,
Yeah.
Groton does the same thing.
So
They
what's
sold
very
1,000
interesting is
permits.
when I first got on the commission, we had about 75 permits, right? And then we started to put clams out, lots of clams.
Yep.
And we started selling more permits, and every year, as our number went up, Westport's number went down. And so now we sell anywhere from 300 to 400, and Westport's numbers seem to have gone down about 300 to 400. So I don't know if it's just coincidence or.
I'm just looking at it from a communication standpoint. Can we, in the same way that you'll get governors of states that are meeting each other in the Major League Baseball World Series, and they'll get involved, and it's a playful back and forth. Can we start to challenge other towns? Can we challenge our people who live in our town? Let's beat Westport, they're at 580. Can we find other interesting ways to get people to get involved? Even if it's just an ongoing,
That's actually
tongue in cheek kind of a,
not too bad of an
post.
idea. So, I mean, we have done a lot of work, we put out a lot of clams. There's only a couple other places that put out more clams than us, I think, which I think is
I
one of them is
think-
Westport and, you know, because Norm Bloom just
I think,
supplies them.
I think that's the key. In other words, if you say in the course of the season, we put out upwards of 60,000 clams or whatever the number is, people, that's a lot of clams.
But doesn't Westport only have the one bed that you can get to without a boat?
Yes, and it's not the greatest
Yeah,
spots. So most of, it's Cockini Island is the real clamming area.
and so like a
Most
lot of
people
people
come
who
in
are
by
coming to
boat.
boat. And that's where they get their, I mean, a lot of out-of-state permits. People who are coming in on their boat, whatever.
Yeah, we don't really want, people have come in by boat to Fairfield, to Sasko, but it's not really what we want over there. So we could get, you know, the information at the gathering. And then we could challenge the people of Fairfield to see if they'll buy enough permits, so we have.
To your point, Bruce, you're very pragmatic and very rational, and putting those numbers out makes a lot of sense. Other people, it might just, they haven't done it so far, here's a reason to do it, and they do it.
Well, I think that when we mention, you know, we're always careful that the numbers we use, but I think the idea that there are thousands of clams, when you look at Sasko Beach, it's pretty small. And the fact that we put out a lot of clams there and we stock it. And I think that's encouraging to a lot of people. It's not like they're just,
Like, it makes it fun for families, cause the little kids are finding stuff, but
One made a statement months ago about, you know, 30,000 people should have permits in Fairfield, we have 65,000 people. So if we have 65,000, we sell 312, I think that's 0.5%, right? So if we can up that to 1.5%, it's basically 1,000 permits. And that really will help us to get more clams, which are getting harder to get, and fund everything we do, but if we could do 2 relays a year and, you know, 2 market buys, yeah, that should satisfy. So we really need to push probably to get a lot more people clamming.
Who's the most popular person in town? Not Bill, he's everyone sees his newsletter. Maybe we need some celebrities. Who's a local celebrity? Can we get John Mayer to go clamming?
So I've thought about it, like even trying to just
these things
on the
are-
down low, try to get a celebrity to come to the clam clinic and not even announce it or anything. And then just use it for PR afterwards, but I just don't know how to get to them.
Who? Which one you think?
Celebrities,
It's not that many. Which one you think? I just mean any celebrities.
I was thinking Michael Jordan.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm thinking Chris France and Tina
He's
Weymouth.
really into competition, so I was thinking about like Michael Jordan and then against like one of our best clammers, you know? One of the best the town's best clammer or something.
All right, so
You know,
let's,
a little contest
okay,
up.
so how about we dial that down and we make it more achievable? What about some of the Fairfield U or Sacred Heart teams? And we ask if any of them want to get involved in this, and we'll have like different teams against each other. That brings youth, that brings a little bit of fun to it, brings a little bit of the competition. Maybe that has a way to get
why not
that
get?
feel.
Why
Because
not-
Jordan, I think, is not coming.
Yeah, I don't think
why-
he is, but
Why wouldn't we do Ludlow and Ward or something like this? I mean,
we could.
Yeah,
We could find
I
them
think there's a
marine
lot of
sciences
negative,
programs if they wanna-
because they're local.
Connection to the-
I mean, the college
to
kids
the
don't.
diversity in the beach
thing
right
is,
now.
is like though, are they gonna draw,
Let's go.
is that gonna draw people?
Cisco's not
to
the
the-
beach though.
So.
I know, but still,
Well, I think
I
that,
think say
My
local has
second
still
choice was
a-
Taylor Swift, by the way. So she's local, Rhode Island. I was, you know,
we could jet down here. But I think that if you get kids involved, the parents follow.
Right.
And if you get the high school kids in the respective programs or whatever, you know, aquaculture programs or whatever they may be, and getting them to compete, you know, and then the parents are involved. I mean, we've even seen this on spat collection with the kids that are down there scraping spat off.
so let's think about different ways. You already have some ideas of maybe a little friendly competition. or just competition, or just getting the Fairfield people to, you know, say, hey, I gotta do this because we need to beat West.
Well, look, at a certain point, we can do it tongue in cheek for a little bit, then we're gonna elevate it to Bill and have him challenge another mayor very publicly on Twitter, kind of a thing would be how it would be fun.
Right, and you know, Jim Himes, he's a congressman, he's a big oyster guy. So, you can always try to.
Yeah.
And, you know, I say we stay non-political, but, we have that option.
All right, let me refine some of these and we'll go from there.
Upwellers are shut down, we already talked about the power washer. A future meeting, we'll discuss what we're gonna do for next year, if we're gonna start them, what time, where we're gonna get our oysters from, all that kind of thing. So we went to the conservation, no, I went backwards, I was already in this. All right, shellfish closure period as of October 31st, 2024, open 168, closed 137. Our 2024-2025 Shellfish Commission budget status is the same as it's been. So mentioning that, I don't know, I guess I could say this, but we had something really good said about us. And there was someone came to see the first selectman, and he's the person happens to know my wife and that, and the first selectman said, you know, really, you're coming to me asking for this, you should really do what the Shellfish Commission does. They sat down with me, they brought me to a meeting, they brought me to the event, we did a story. They let me know about all the good things the Shellfish Commission does. We didn't ask for any money. And that's what he told this other organization, you know, be like the Shellfish Commission. And that was really nice to hear.
That's next year's t-shirt. Be like the Shellfish Commission.
Yep.
So,
Quotes PG.
all right, we're going off the budget, go to old business. Let's discuss the clam clinic. What went well, what didn't go well, any suggestions?
Seemed great to me.
I think we had extraordinarily good weather, which, aside from the beetles,
The Beatles did drive some people home, or the
Yeah, because they're
lantern flies.
yeah, I mean, there were.
talking creepy.
Mhm.
I don't know why the beach attracts them, but I mean, Bruce did the chowder tent and that went well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the chowder that was donated was far better than, you know, what we put together, because it was done as restaurant quality, and that's not what we're about when we do it normal. So it was really good.
It's good though.
It was always well received.
It's always well received. It was nice because it was a thinner chowder, and being summer, it was, or being warm out, but it went down to the last drop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we sold that and all of it. I think the band, the steel band worked really, really well. You know, they like being there. It's
They
just,
love doing it.
and it's so sort of mellow. It just, you hear it,
Gives
but
you the
you-
vibe and
and doesn't require any power and everything. And I just think it makes for a great day.
I think it was set up well, the way we had the tents, you know, almost in a little square. And everyone spent most of the time in the water, but I think, you know, we did sell
well, the spirit, like a lot of
something like
spirit wear, but whatever. Our March,
$780 worth of merchandise.
I think being able to do it by Venmo, right? Is that how we did it? How did we do it?
There was some cash, there was some Venmo. So the Venmo went, my wife was at that table. She just had the Venmo go to her, and then she went and got the cash. So that worked well. On the chowder and the donation, so on the prizes. Did you hear what happened? You were there. Was you there till the end?
Present.
There was one extra shell. Like someone found a red shell out there or
Previous
brought
year.
one in
Oh,
their
from a
pocket
previous year.
from previous year. Because we definitely only put out 10 of the kids shells and then 5 or so, or 3
So
of the
maybe
big
every
silver
year we
ones.
need to do different color shells
I guess
to make
so.
sure that we are
Or
No leftover.
no leftovers.
We can date them.
when I was in high school, we would go to the beer parties and inevitably there'd be the solo cups, either red or yellow. And there would be a green or black mark on them to show you were at the right party. So we just put those in our car and we marked them. We don't know, somebody didn't bring red paint to the beach, paint themselves up a shell.
And someone found 2 of the scallop shells, but we made them.
Yes.
Also, you know, the parents, they see that McDonald's gift card there. And they're like, take one of the others. And then there was only one left and the kid was like, yes. It's hilarious. But that was great. And then the extra shell, we gave him a t-shirt. We did thank you letters. I sent a thank you letter to Cops Island,
Nordic Fish.
to Nordic Fish, and to what's the name of that truck restaurant that made the chowder. The letters were really nice. I think I have them if you want me to read one, but I used AI. So they came out really. Really unbelievably
I didn't write
good.
them.
Yeah, I'd have to look for them, but so I sent those out. What I wanted to ask was, do you think we could send a hat and a t-shirt up to the restaurant that made the chowder?
Sure.
Mhm.
Um,
How much merch do we have? How much do we have? Much stock?
We had quite a bit going in, but we sold 39 products, so we probably need to restock on t-shirts and probably on hats.
I think it'd be nice to do hoodies,
What,
especially if we do it in the fall.
what's the biggest seller?
People wear hoodies, they wear them around, like,
I think the hats sell pretty quick. A lot of hats were bought. I didn't keep track of it. It's probably written down in the box. We could do hats, shirts. The hoodies, so they're gonna be more expensive to buy, you know, or whatever.
I know that when I did, I mean, even if we do them in like the kid sizes. You know, parents will buy
Kid
them,
sizes would be great.
parents will buy them and, you know, and I would do,
Yeah,
I
getting
did
the
spirit wear
hoodie,
for the softball. The softball board. And, you know, kids like sweatshirts.
Do you wanna get some pricing on sweatshirts
I can reach out.
or hoodies? Okay.
We'll get, I mean, we have time, depending on when we do our, you know, I'm just thinking if we do. End up in September, or if we're really early in May, they might sell. People are chilly at the beach.
What about rakes? We seem to have had enough rakes, right?
Rakes are always fine. I mean, people hold on to them for a while, but
Probably don't need to buy any rakes anytime soon. That was fine.
I think as long as you say, not everybody gets a rake, but if it's a family, you get one rake. And quite frankly, when they're out there raking, they get tired of raking, so now it's your turn, you know.
Yeah, and
They pass.
we
the-
never had all the rakes go out, cause I was in the tent with the rakes. We never at any point ran out of rakes.
We did purchase 2 new coolers and 2 new small tents, so we're set with that kind of stuff. All right, so we'll look into the dates and all that for the next year. I think this one went great. Other than they actually shut Sasko Hill Road at Oldfield Road. So Tim Bishop,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
did the officer not show up on time or how did that work?
He was pretty close to on time. Obviously called in for some backup in the road. But he was there, I guess, a little late, or at least maybe he was delayed coming in. I'm not sure. But when I got there, I was already parking on the lawn up the hill past the guard jack, so.
All right, so maybe
Just
next year, we'll
Product of weather.
an hour earlier or something like that. All right, does anyone else have anything they want to discuss on the clam clinic? All right, so let's see. All right, we're gonna go to the supplemental, new business. Staff 2025 meeting schedule. You guys see it there?
This one, the supplemental agenda?
In the supplemental.
Bring it back with the.
Oh,
Look over those dates. Does anyone see anything that there's a conflict? We might be missing a few people. Any of them fall on a holiday?
Oh, man. Like regular Wednesdays.
Was everyone good with that? Take a look at it and then.
The only one I would probably have a problem with is October, but otherwise it looks good.
Change your plans.
It's my anniversary.
All right, so do we want to vote on that?
I'll make a motion to
Oh,
approve these dates.
actually, it says for December vote, so,
December.
yeah, so everyone just check the calendars and we'll vote on that in December, but it looks good so far. Nominating committee for election of officers for December vote. Was that in Bruce?
sure.
If anyone, maybe you're secretary right now,
Mhm.
I'm chairman. So we're gonna need someone to step up to be the vice chair. So, I'll just say that, I'll put my name in for chairman again.
It's fine.
And if anyone wants to go for the chair, then would tell Lizette or Bruce. If you want to stay as a secretary or not, it's up to you. All right,
It's
so we
gonna be a
have,
salary increase.
yeah,
We need to fill vice chair.
we need to fill vice chair. On that note is, I'm meeting someone tomorrow about one of the openings on the commission, talk to them. We're actually meeting at Sasko Beach at 4 o'clock. So I'm just gonna go over everything we do and see, you know.
Big low tide.
Really,
No, actually. It was a minus 0.8 today.
and then I also have a call with another person that's interested. Does anyone know anyone that is interested in being on the Shellfish Commission?
Potentially. What's the deal with balancing political parties?
What do we have right now there?
Looks like we got Rs and Us.
Yeah. There are 3 Rs, 2 Us. We really need 2 Ds.
My guy's not a D.
Is he a U?
Oh, he's an R.
He's not an I. Alright.
I may know someone who does, I mean, he's been clamming and doing things for years.
Since there's 2 uncommitteds. We'd have to find that out. If that's gonna be okay or not. We're really non-political. We don't make decisions that really affect.
Mm-hmm.
So if we know someone that who may be interested,
Mhm.
What is the next step? Should I give you his name and his number or?
You know, there's on the website,
Online?
there's a application, you fill that out, send it in, and then. So the two people that are interested, the resume they sent was really nice, they both look good. I'll talk to them and see what their interests are, why they wanna be on the commission, all that kind of thing. We're fairly active, so we need people that can be fairly active.
Are we still looking for the alternates that we had discussed having?
So someone from the RTM called me a few weeks ago, asked why we needed alternates and all that.
Backup people.
So that should be hearing about that soon. Tim Bishop, do you know anything about that?
I have not heard from the selectmen on the status of the alternates.
Yeah, so we have situations like last month where
Right.
we didn't have enough people.
So I have someone that, Nick Imbrogno that was at the meeting when the selectman was here. He's interested in an alternate spot, but if we could find someone else that's interested. I think it's gonna pass, but I don't know. And then we get another woman on the commission too. Everyone knows female that.
We rule the show.
What?
So we rule the show.
You need someone to take over for me too.
Oh, you
I'm
can't
done in a
leave.
year.
You can't leave.
You better go to the charter commission. Oh, no, work the town code. Go to the RTM. Get a lifetime appointment.
How many years have you been on now?
10 years, 10 and a half years. I got one more year. So I filled out a term. It was a year and a half left, and now I'm on my second 5-year term. So I think I've been chairman for at least 5 years.
You were very chairman like Sean.
Hmm?
You were very chairman like.
Sean's in Maine a lot, so I know he's.
Usually, well, I get my girls out of the house now.
And the mountain goats.
Semester.
Bruce takes over. It's gonna be 2-3 hour meetings. I'm done. So I'm gonna interview those people and we'll see what happens. All right, we're gonna go over to the original agenda. So did everyone get the email or was it just me and Tim Bishop about the Ash Creek Conservation Association? They have an RFP out. They're gonna be doing a big restoration of the island in Ash Creek.
Is that the one, the island that she came and she spoke to us about?
Yeah, no, she was talking about the spit that time.
Okay.
Tim Bishop, do you have any better information on what they're gonna be doing over there and if it's gonna affect us in any way?
Yeah, overall, ACCA is partnered with Save the Sound and some other professionals, and the plan or proposed plan is to do some thin layer deposition of material onto Great Marsh Island. So it's going to involve us as the town of Fairfield and the city of Bridgeport for cooperation, because Ash Creek doesn't own any property. So it'll be a kind of a team effort, but that's the intent, is to work with Deep as well as kind of a trial area to see how depositing fine materials onto that land mass will essentially raise the elevation of the low marsh, and how that will impact and benefit the ecological system that's partially submerged, during high tide. That's kind of the overall plan. They have a big chunk of grant money. I think it's close to $1 million, 800,000 or something like that, to do some research and design and propose the work. Where the material comes from, or when, or how that gets placed is be part of that design plan. That's all I know so far. I know I'll be involved.
All right, so you keep us updated on what's going on.
Absolutely.
Everyone, I don't know if everyone, if you want it, I could send out that email to you guys if you want it. Go over it.
Who did it come from? I feel like I did have something.
It came from Ash Creek, right?
Yeah. All right, anything else on Ash Creek? All right, so recently I met with Samantha from Mill River Wetland Committee. So we need a correction in our on this new business, item 2, working together with, I think it's MRWC. So I want to discuss working together with Mill River Wetland Committee in the upcoming year. So I met with Samantha and we went down at Ash Creek and discussed what they do in the river lab down there and all that. And we'd really like if a couple of commissioners possibly could show up. There's different dates that they do this, so if anyone can possibly spare a day and go down and just help out, possibly answer questions. The kids have tons of questions. They have put together a little oyster table. We give them the oysters and the kids are able to look at them, and they have our spat collectors and they're able to go out and pull up some shell and show them the spat. So at some point we'll have them come back into the meeting and go over all the dates, and maybe we can work together with them and get a couple people on each day that they run the river lab down there. So I came up with an idea for them. It usually happens, they do this in May, and we normally put in shell May, June, I guess they do it. So we normally put in shell in June. So I said, the Shellfish Commission will be willing to fill a bunch of baskets with shell that we have. And the students could we could set an area where they could put the shell into the river, when we know it's gonna stay and it's gonna catch spat. And so we mark off an area and they'll be able to actually bring the shell, put it down. And then the next year when they come, they can see what spat growing on it. And then the next year, maybe another area, and then next year, another area. So they can see like the difference, in the growth of the oysters and all that.
They're
So
doing this on the Mill River?
No, this is at Ash Creek.
Oh, at Ash Creek.
So the Mill River Wetland Committee, they have a Mill River River Lab, and then they do the Ash Creek River Lab. So this would only be at Ash Creek.
I think Ash Creek is usually the middle school too, so you're not talking about
Middle
little
school.
kids.
Oh, yeah, no, the middle school will be the ones
Yeah,
with
middle
the.
school kids.
They're not gonna do it down by the tide mill, which is really the.
No, this is just Ash Creek,
Okay.
just Ash Creek. So it has to do with the oysters and all that. So I think the River Lab they run up there is the freshwater, and then the Ash Creek is the saltwater.
Because every year they focus on different spots. They go to different places as they're kind of going through.
So I said we'd be
Middle school,
glad to
Ash
help
Creek.
them. Get as many commissioners as we can. If we can get any, I said, I'll guarantee that I could be there. So if we can get one or two of us to show up there's different days on different days. And just, what I said, answer the questions but I think the shell thing would be really cool for them to see, over
that's a great idea.
5-year period, and they'll actually be part of the restoration of Ash Creek.
And the other thing to do would be to invite them back for the spat collection day, because they can see it's not the shell that they put out, but the spat collector's
Right,
there.
but we didn't put any spat collectors in this year.
Okay,
So we have to decide if we're gonna put them in next year also. So we have a lot of spat collectors. We've been doing it for a long time. There's possibilities of getting spat in easier way or less labor intensive. We could put some spat collectors out just
For,
get some spat, but we don't,
just for educational
for
purposes,
educational purposes, yeah.
not the same volume.
Right, so we may not have a spat collector day in the future, but if we do spat collectors again, we will do that in the future. But that's a different thing altogether. This is something that's set up with them in the schools on certain dates, and it has to strictly stay that way. And Samantha will be better to explain what they do to you guys, and how we could help out. But the idea was have this, we'll find a section. So I don't know if you know Ash Creek, where you walk through like the little park with the picnic tables, and then you go to the trail, and it goes down, and there's a little opening
Yeah.
there. So we've been putting shell up to that opening. We put a couple of drops past the opening. I was thinking of collecting that shell up and just putting it back on the other side and giving them the space around just past the opening to start shelling up. And just go down beforehand and mark it off with either painted rocks or just hammering a piece of rebar or something with a little flag on it. We would definitely have to be there when obviously they put the shell in, because we'd have to guide them, possibly lay down something to walk on, I'm not sure.
Is this gonna be coordinated with the tide?
It's always coordinated with the tide.
Yeah.
So it has to be low tide
No,
because,
but I mean Samantha, she'll coordinate it with the tide.
yes, they've been doing this for years. They're just asking if we could get involved now.
Okay.
So yeah, they always coordinate with the low tide.
Obviously, but
Cause it's worthless otherwise, because they like to show the bridge, you know, all the different, where the grist mills were. So you have to have the low tide to see that stuff, cause there's not much left of what it is. So when I was a kid and did it, there used to be an onion barge that had broken free and was stuck on the side there. And now it's just a bunch of pieces of wood. They don't even know that anymore. I said, oh, do you still show them the onion barge? She's like, what are you talking about? So they learned something, so now I have to do some research on that. But is everyone on board with this, helping out the
Yeah.
Mill River?
Yeah.
You could possibly try to find some time if possible. It's not a requirement, but if we could, I know not everyone has a job. I don't know if everyone works or not, but everyone's busy. So I'll be talking to Samantha and we'll set up a time probably after the new year for them to come back in and discuss all this and give us the dates. All right,
good.
any questions? All right, informational. You always got something, Bruce.
All I can tell you is the dredging is gonna go on. That's the primary thing, is informational, that will be happening. That was scheduled to happen in October. The negotiations between the country club and the town got extended, and the Army Corps and Deep worked it out, and they're making every effort to be here in January. It'll take about a month. We will be next on the 20th. There's some endangered species of plants that are going to be transplanted on the 20th. And because they're in the work area and they have to be moved, so they'll be moved.
All right. I think one time they mentioned something about doing that up near where you come down from Sasco, and there's a bunch of rocks, doing something up there. Possibly putting some shell up on the beach, because that's where the plovers like to be, and I'm not sure.
The piping plovers are not part of the picture.
Okay. All right. Also on informational, I should have put this under oyster bed development. Is the shell collection, we've stopped collecting shell. It's just Blue and Berry was producing about 1 bucket every 2 weeks. Martell has had 1 bucket in the last month. The country club a bucket every couple of weeks, and then Bryac was at about 5 or 6 buckets. So I've picked up all the buckets and told everyone we're not picking up anymore. We have a commitment, at least for next year, from Jimmy Bloom to provide us with some shell. We probably have, would you guess it's about 750 bushel out there in our pile?
Yeah, I'm not good with the bushel conversion, but I would say yeah, quite a good 30 probably cubic yards, maybe more. It's a good pile.
We got a good pile right now, and if we go earlier next year to get the shell, we can probably get some better quality and truckloads of it if we want it. So I don't think that the labor, it's a 3-hour round trip to pick up shell from 4 different places. And yeah, I think a year and a half ago, we were deciding to just do it from Bryac at that time and not add any more places. So that's it for the shell collection as of now. Does anyone have any questions or comments? No. All right. The buckets that are left from the shell collection are really beat up. I'm probably just gonna throw them away. They're all at the workshop. But unless we can use them for something else, there's no handles on them. They're pretty grody inside. They're nasty inside. There's a lot of scratches and it's very hard to clean. There's some good ones. There's still some brand new buckets in our locker, so we have buckets if we need them.
Sounds good. There wouldn't be anything that the Ash Creek students would be able to use. Those would be too big and heavy anyway, probably for them.
There's no handles on them.
Yeah.
No, we'll have to figure out
Small buckets.
getting them some smaller baskets or something.
Yeah.
Anything else informational?
Any updates on that dock going off Sasko Beach?
I haven't heard anything. I don't see
Permitted.
a lot of construction going on over there really, so.
It's permitted, it's a question as to whether or not somebody wants to do it.
Hmm.
I don't even know. I see one house being built.
Yep.
That's where another house already was, I think, right?
That was where the barn was.
You know, the folks who bought the boathouse have the permit to do the dock.
Somebody bought the boathouse separately? I thought it was the guy that bought the whole
boat-
property.
Well, the property that includes the boathouse.
So the interesting thing is, that's actually, they call it beach house. That's Stedman.
You know, I mean, I can remember when it was a boathouse being there,
Yeah, there was an actual dock there at one time.
and when the Regals lived there.
All right, any other? No?
This doesn't really involve Fairfield as much, but I was wondering with the development that's going on down at Steel Point in Bridgeport,
Mhm.
is there any kind of information that we're getting as far as, you know, how harbor management is taking care of like the environmental stuff, you know, because they're digging?
Oh, at Steel Point?
Yeah,
So they have. The bulkhead is that interlocking steel
Sheet
that's,
pile.
yeah, so that should be holding anything back that, you know, and that was remediated in the past, so.
okay.
It's housing that's going in there, so it has to be remediated fully. It was a steel plant. I'm not sure what comes out of, I'm sure there was heavy metals possibly involved, but yeah, that's all. Yeah, so that sheet piling pretty much holds everything back.
I mean, in that same regard, the Porsche plant, a Porsche
Dealership.
dealership has been rejected, so that it may be appealed. But that's up in the air.
That's also remediated and same thing, sheet piling, plus there's a buffer, right?
Well, there's a question, yeah, there were a bunch of questions. Tim knows whether or not the sheet piling was supposed to be removed as part of the agreement, it wasn't. And it remains, and the question is, what will happen in the future?
And we'll be discussing it sometime in the future.
The pilings on Perry Green are nearly completed.
That's a big job on there.
Well, that's about the same cost, in fact, a little bit less than what it's gonna cost to do the sand. It's about $1,250,000, $1,500,000 to do the sand down at the country club by the South Wharf. And I think it was a
Seems
little
cheap.
over $1 million to do the Perry Green.
All right, well, that's just about it, other than we are only 5 members right now, so we've missed 2 quorums in the last 3 months. Not the end of the world, but until we can get some new members, we gotta try to keep the quorum going.
Is there any sense that in town, people that have been on one commission for a long time and maybe it's time for them to move on, they cross pollinate to other, maybe they like volunteering? Have we ever had discussions with other?
I haven't, but I have been thinking about it, is when I end the Shellfish Commission, maybe I get onto another commission.
So I'm saying maybe there's people who enjoy coming that have been doing something that would enjoy joining us.
It's possible. I don't know how we could find that out.
I don't
I
know.
guess we could contact the commission chairs, right? See if anyone is, or we could just check the terms. Go right onto the
Oh, we got those all posted?
yeah, it's all posted. Like if you go on our webpage, it's posted, our terms. So we could find out who's term is up and contact them. I don't know, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's just wondering.
You could throw something up on our social media if you want to.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Actually, do it sooner than later, because I'm meeting 2 people tomorrow. I'm meeting and talking to 2 people tomorrow.
I'll get something up tomorrow.
Is there a limit to how many people you can have on our commission?
7. We're,
That's why we had the alternate idea.
we hope that we can get 2 alternates. Which make it a lot easier for everyone. Traveling in the summer or the holidays, things like that. Things come up, but the alternates would be great, because then you can just appoint them as a commissioner for that meeting. But they
But also, if you can't physically be here, if you can come in by
Yes.
Zoom, that works too. That's important to bear in mind. I mean,
Right. So yeah, if our next couple meetings, if you have to, if you can call in or use the Zoom, that would be good. I think it's just the Zoom now, right?
right.
There's no more. I think that's it.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, meeting adjourned.